Well, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for your help with the PSAT 8-9 this year. You're going to be in good hands as Suzanne and Charles will be heading up this room and we'll keep everything organized. Just a couple of reminders for you. Coffee will be in the staff caf if you're thirsty before testing day. Your materials will already be in the field house. You don't need to pick anything up. Please report to the field house between 8 and 8:15. Most students will start to arrive between 8:15 and 8:45. Honestly, the biggest lift is really right at the beginning in this space, and that includes helping kids find their seats and also helping, of course, distribute material. So this is kind of what you can expect. This is part of Suzanne's genius prior to COVID and the best ways to sort of organize students in this very large space. So there'll be numbers assigned to a range of rows, and students will have assigned seats in the field house. They'll have a seat number, and those will be posted, of course, prior to that day. Students will get an email, and then they'll be just outside the field house. When you arrive to the field house, don't forget, we do have to keep these on file, just the testing staff agreement, which basically reminds us that you don't have a kid taking the PSAT 8-9, that you haven't done anything illegal, you haven't had, access to the materials, yada, yada, yada. Prior to test day, and that you'd agree to all terms related to giving and providing and supporting this test. So before testing, Charlie will begin all pre-administrative procedures once students arrive. Really, students can enter this space until he says go, the first test has begun. So if you have a student that kind of scrambles in and you're already bubbling in kind of those first 9 fields, that's okay. Help them find their seat, get them a test booklet, catch them up, but it's okay. Students technically don't need an ID, especially for the PSAT 8-9. Really, the rule of thumb is if students are testing at their home school, we really don't have to check IDs. It's fine if we want to lead with, hey, have your ID out, have it out on your desk while you test, and if you're the one passing out different things, or as you come by and the answer sheets are out on their desk and you just want to make sure that it is who we think it is, that's totally fine. This to me is essential for the SAT when we're reporting in the test for college, but technically for the PSAT 8-9, if the kid has their ID out or out on their desk, you don't need to go through and manually check to verify. Help students, of course, find their seat location. We talked about that. Make sure students, we can't emphasize this enough, Charlie will announce it, it's in the script, but just constant reminders of take that Apple Watch off, any other device that communicates with the outside world, power down cell phones, put them down below. We're not collecting them, but just get them away and make sure that they are off would be super helpful. The pre-administrative tasks, so what will Charlie kind of be leading them through? So a couple of important reminders. One, let me move up here. So, they will already have pre-ID labels on there. These are not generic answer sheets. They come from the state of Illinois with pre-ID identification. A couple of things. One, students do need to bubble in these fields even though they are on their label. The most important thing is just for them to see, like, is everything on my label seem accurate? If it's not, you can have them bubble in the correct information, or we can give them a blank and new answer for them. That's honestly probably the cleanest thing to do. One of the things that's essential is just that when they bubble in their ID number, they are bubbling in their 9-digit state ID number. You're probably thinking, where do I find that number? That number is located on their state label, and it's in the upper left-hand corner. There's this funky barcode down here. Do not make sure they do not bubble that in. We want the state ID number, which is in the upper left-hand corner. I doubt they'll remember it. It's actually the 9-digit number that they use to take the 5 Essentials survey. Everything else is pretty straightforward. We'll have the 144214 up on the board, a series of boards in the field house as well. The gender piece and name piece, I do want to address this. Students for now, their label will have their name and gender that the state of Illinois has. So we do have a few students who have transitioned and have already gone through legal name changes or have updated those, not only in our power school, but for the state. The majority of students who have done this have only updated that internally in our system. Thus, the state of Illinois does not have that. If a student asks, I would highly encourage them to bubble in and use the gender that the state of Illinois has put on their label, because it creates a nightmare for them with the College Board if they suddenly create duplicate accounts. And so certainly their counselor, myself, we can work through with students if they decide to legally change their name, if they decide to update their name and gender with the state of Illinois, etc. We can work through all of that. But for now, I would encourage them to stick with what's on their label. Additionally, prior to test day, students where we would want to give them a heads up that this is going to happen, our social workers and counselors have already talked to those students to give them a heads up. On the back, lots of red arrows here. A couple of quick things. One, there's only 4 things outside of that initial demographic information the kids got to bubble in, and they're important ones. It's the form code, the test ID, the serial number, and the testing room code, and of course the certification statement. The certification statement's essential. They don't need to sign anymore with cursive. They can just print their name. That's fine, but that's essential to score this test. The one thing that does confuse folks sometimes is the serial number, item C. You can find your serial number. It's on the front of the testing booklet. So these other pieces of data, the form code, the test ID, those are on the back of the booklet. The serial number is on the barcode or above the barcode or below the barcode on the front of their individual testing booklet. And that's what goes here in Form C. Distributing the materials, this is a large room, this is messy and complicated. You're going to serpentine as you distribute. So whoever tasks each of you, that's probably Suzanne helping with test booklets for these massive amounts of rows. Just make sure that you snake the rows as you distribute the testing booklets. That way we can, if there's an issue with cheating, we can identify very quickly who had which booklet and where they sat. We will take care of the seating chart for this room in terms of documenting who had what tests and where they sat. Breaks are a little messy here, so encourage kids to take breaks only if it's essential and they need it. So there will be options in the locker room area, and there'll be options in the foyer. I would split the groups. We'll work with Charlie to do that, but I would also maybe have students break a bit in sections, so not all 300 students go at once. We want to make sure that the overall break is not 30 minutes. We do need to sort of stick to the timelines for the PSAT, but we may sort of chunk a little bit how we do this break. Again, students will split between the locker room and the foyer. Please be active during this break. Be out in the hall, bring students back, have them come back and sit at their testing desk. They shouldn't be milling about, 30 rows away, hanging out by someone else's tests. Again, they're going to put their answer sheet inside their test booklet. No one else you should not see any student opening up their test booklet during this time, going back and filling in answers. There's no advantage to doing that in the sense of they're not sending this test to college. So they need to follow the rules, and please just be an active room proctor and supervisor during these breaks. Help students get seated right away so that Charlie can restart the test. Irregularities. The biggest one obviously would be some sort of a loud noise, a fire alarm, or you see cheating, whether that's the use of a device or going back after time is called clearly. The biggest thing that I can't emphasize enough is that you just document this process. You don't have to make a big scene. Don't get into some sort of verbal altercation. Don't kick the kid out right in the middle of the test. Document what you saw, what you said. You always need to say something to the student. I see that you have bubbled in after the time. I need you to stop doing that. Do you understand? Write down then what the exchange is. As long as the student abides by it, document everything, and we'll address that directly with you and with Charlie after the test. If it's blatant, cheating or the students using a device, again, let them finish, know what happens at the end of that session, and then get a hold of me, and we'll figure out what we want to do with that student. If the fire alarm goes off, my God, just get everybody out of there safely. We will bring your attendance sheets back, and we will group students in a way to just do a quick head count. We'll make sure the room is clear and that everyone is safe. Charlie will just do his best to document how far into a test the students were, so they have no more time or no less time when we return from the fire. All right, after testing, we'll dismiss. we'll sort of coordinate. Last year, this room dismissed around 1220 students. Then, obviously, a great deal of these freshmen will go to the buses. It's important that they stay out of other areas. So that's the math hallway, the world language hallway, the English hallway. Keep them out of there. Remind them to go directly to the foyer and out to be picked up, or to the bus. Exit. We will sort of shepherd them towards door 2, meaning that they'll leave by the nurse's office to get to the bus lane rather than meandering through the school to get to their normal bus door. We'll work with Charlie, but we don't want to dismiss everybody at once just because it gets chaotic. Again, make sure that you've signed the testing staff agreement. Materials will be brought back to me via Suzanne, who will help with the collection of them. So if you have any questions prior to test day, please don't hesitate to contact me or Suzanne. Again, I know there's a lot of other things you can be doing or could be doing on this day. It's an important benchmark for many of our families who do look pretty intently on their students' score as they're projecting out an SAT, as many of our students are starting to think about post-secondary as they sort of get closer to sophomore and junior year. So I do really appreciate your time on this day. Thank you, and let us know if you need anything.